Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tearing into one of the most successful and I think polarizing phenomena in modern self-help.
Oh, absolutely.
Rhonda Byrne's The Secret,
Uh-huh.
the audiobook version. You gave us the sources, reviews, critiques, and our mission is to get past just describing it.
Right. We need to analyze why it works so well for so many, and also where, according to the sources, it dramatically fails.
Exactly.
It's so important to understand this one because whether you love it or hate it, The Secret really defined how millions of people think about goals.
Yeah, and positive thinking in the 21st century. So this isn't just a book summary.
No, not at all. We're dissecting a kind of a massive cultural mechanism.
Right. We're looking for that full balanced picture. How can a philosophy be so, you know, emotionally simple and comforting, but also potentially misleading when you apply it to real life?
Well, I think that paradox is right there in its foundational hook. The audiobook, it claims to reveal the universal law of attraction.
The big C.
The big secret. The idea that your mind, just through your thoughts, acts as this creative force that literally shapes your reality.
And the whole thing is built on one very simple, very repeatable core message.
They hammer it home over and over again.
What is it?
What you think about, you bring about. Simple as that. The metaphor is that your thoughts are a powerful magnet.
Okay.
You hold positive thoughts, positive emotions, and you attract positive outcomes. And, the opposite is true for negative thoughts. They magnetically pull negative experiences to you. It's presented as a law, like gravity.
Okay, so let's unpack that. But first, the delivery system, the audiobook itself. I mean, the law of attraction is pretty abstract.
Very.
How does the audiobook format make it work where maybe a paperback wouldn't?
Well, the sources are really clear on this. The format isn't just a reading of a book. It's a whole technical strategy. It's designed for persuasion.
So the delivery is meant to fill in the, let's say, intellectual gaps.
Precisely. The production quality is absolutely central to its power.
Okay, that makes sense. We saw details on the style. The narration is very warm, very soothing. It feels almost like a cinematic documentary.
It does. And what's fascinating is how that production is, well, it's engineered to lower your cognitive resistance.
Your skepticism.
Exactly. The pacing is slow, it's thoughtful, it's dramatic. And critically, there's the background music.
Right, the music.
It's not just noise. It's music that is specifically composed to be inspirational, to create this feeling of emotional elevation.
So the music and the tone aren't just ambiance.
No, they're technical tools. They're designed to make you feel the truth of the message before you even start to question it.
And they bring in other voices too, right?
Yes, occasional expert voices to add a layer of authority, but the real power is emotional. The source review gave the emotional impact a 9 out of 10.
A 9, wow.
It suggests the whole thing just bypasses your analytical brain and goes straight for that feeling of possibility. You're emotionally on board before you've even had a chance to be critical.
That's a brilliant insight into its success. It's a motivational session disguised as a universal law.
Exactly that. And that emotional uplift is the engine that drives the whole thing.
Okay, so let's move from the vehicle to the content. Let's dive into those 6 key lessons listeners are supposed to use to harness this magnetic law.
The first one is the big one, the foundation. Your mind is literally a creative engine. The thoughts you hold over and over again, they become the raw material of your world.
And right on the heels of that is lesson 2, which is a way to keep that engine running positively. Gratitude multiplies blessings.
Yes, it's presented as an exponential concept. If you focus on what you're grateful for right now, the universe will give you more and more things to be grateful for.
It's more than just a feel-good exercise then.
In their framework, yes, it's an active tool. It sort of primes your mind to look for the good things, which, does connect to real psychological concepts, though the book doesn't use that kind of language.
Right. And speaking of priming the brain, lesson 3 is visualization. This is where it starts to feel a bit more practical.
This is the application. It's not just daydreaming. It's about clearly, consistently seeing your goals in your mind's eye, as if they're already real.
And the sources connect this to things like mental rehearsal in sports psychology.
They do, but with a twist. The Secret says the visualization itself is what triggers the universal force. It's not just practice, it's the cause of the real-world movement.
I found number 4 to be maybe the most instantly useful one for a listener because it's like a self-diagnostic tool. emotions are indicators.
Yes. A feedback system. If you feel good, you're aligned, things are working. If you feel bad, anxious, frustrated, the book says that's an alarm bell.
An alarm telling you what?
That you are thinking the opposite of what you want, and you need to correct your thought pattern immediately.
That's a very simple feedback loop, but wow, it puts all the responsibility for your emotions right back on you.
100%. Which leads us perfectly into the blueprint, the famous three-step formula that everyone remembers.
The heart of it all. Ask, believe, receive.
That's the one. Step 1, ask the universe. Be clear, be specific. Step 2, and this is the non-negotiable part, believe you already have it. You have to kill all doubt.
Act as if.
Exactly. Act as if it's already done. And then step 3 is receive with joy. The whole point is to make it simple and eliminate any room for the listener's doubt.
And the final lesson, number 6, it just ties it all together. Personal responsibility.
It makes no exceptions. You attract everything. Your success, your failures, your health, your relationships, everything. You are the sole architect.
That idea of being the sole architect it's incredibly motivating.
It's one of the book's greatest strengths. But as we have to get into now, it is also the source of its most significant flaw.
Okay, let's shift focus. We get what the book says. Now, how does it actually function in the real world? Let's start with the strengths, because for all the critiques, you can't deny its power.
You can't. The sources are clear on this. The book is a massive motivator. It got an 8 out of 10 for motivation in the review. Listeners feel genuinely inspired.
For someone who feels stuck, I can see how that focus on possibility would be life-changing.
It absolutely can be. And secondly, its clarity is a huge strength. The language is so simple, the ideas are repeated constantly, which makes them incredibly sticky. You don't get lost.
It just sinks in fast.
And crucially, it gives you immediate practical actions. Anyone can do them. Gratitude lists, positive affirmations, visualization. There's zero-cost mental tools.
Okay, so those strengths, they really explain its global success. But now we have to turn the coin over. What happens when this simple, powerful idea slams into the messy complexity of real life?
This is where it's complicated. The most immediate criticism is that the book just dangerously oversimplifies reality.
The idea that just thinking can change everything.
It just doesn't align with the real world's constraints.
What are those constraints that it's accused of ignoring?
The big one is the role of consistent hard work and effort. The book kind of presents manifestation as something that happens to you after you think correctly.
Instead of something you actively build.
Right. And even more critically, it completely neglects external systemic factors.
Okay, we need to clarify what that means for anyone listening.
The philosophy just falls apart when you face structural issues. If you're born into poverty, or you face systemic inequality, or you don't have access to education or resources.
Believing you already have the career isn't enough.
It's just insufficient. The Secret offers no roadmap for navigating those very real disadvantages that govern so much of our opportunity in life.
That contrast between believing in the goal and having the resources to get there, that's a huge gap. But I think the most serious potential harm is the risk of self-blame.
This is the third and maybe the most devastating critique. The logic is unbreakable in its own system if you attract everything.
If you do the steps, ask, believe, receive.
And yet something tragic happens. A serious illness, a major failure, a loss. The book's own logic forces you to conclude that your thoughts must have attracted it.
So that empowering idea of total responsibility, when does that become, destructive self-judgment?
The moment life throws you a curveball that's outside of your control. It places this immense, unnecessary emotional burden on you, suggesting your own subconscious negativity caused your suffering. Not bad luck, not external events. You.
That could be psychologically devastating.
It really could. And the final limitation noted in the sources is the problem of overpromising results.
The instant manifestation stories.
Yes. By focusing on those sensational quick wins, it sets these wildly unrealistic expectations for the average person who is trying to build sustainable change over years, not days.
Okay, so let's synthesize all of this. After weighing the emotional power against the logical holes and the risk of self-blame, what is the final practical assessment for you, the listener?
I think we really need to nail down how to categorize this thing. The review's final verdict is key here. The Secret is a powerful mindset-shaping experience. It is not a practical, structured self-help guide.
A mindset shaper versus a productivity system. That's a crucial distinction.
It's why it only scored a 6 out of 10 for practicality. The focus on action, on effort, it's just missing.
So who is the ideal listener for this then?
People looking for pure, raw motivation. Beginners in self-help who need a jolt of hope. Dreamers who really thrive on possibility. And, anyone just curious about positive thinking will find the emotional journey satisfying.
And who should probably stay away, or at least be very skeptical.
Realists. People who prefer logical, evidence-based frameworks. If you're looking for scientific explanations or step-by-step systems for productivity, you're going to find the lack of practical detail really frustrating.
And maybe anyone prone to self-criticism.
Absolutely. If you're already hard on yourself, the book's logic could be actively damaging.
So what's the most important takeaway for you listening to this right now? What's the bottom line on this phenomenon?
I think its biggest contribution is helping people shift their internal posture from, a place of helplessness or victimhood to one of possibility and agency. It reminds us that our default mindset really does shape our world.
So it can be life-changing, but only if you understand it correctly.
Exactly.
As a tool for internal change, not as a literal universal law for dispensing wealth, taking every claim at face value is just going to lead to disappointment.
It's a powerful lever for changing your beliefs, but it's a poor substitute for taking action.
So we've got the two sides of the coin. A brilliantly produced, emotionally powerful engine.
Resting on a dangerously simplified logical foundation that tends to ignore effort and real-world complexity.
Right, so a powerful thought to leave you with, connecting that critique back to the formula itself.
Right.
The book's biggest risk is self-blame, because it neglects effort and environment. So if the formula is ask, believe, receive, what happens if you apply that power of ask, believe, receive specifically to the things the book neglects? What if you believe in your ability to exert consistent effort, or believe in your capacity to navigate those systemic constraints? Does that rebalance the equation?
That's interesting.
Does the law of attraction then become a powerful force multiplier for your action instead of a magical substitute for it? That's something worth mulling over.
It transforms a passive idea into an active one. I like that.
Thank you for providing the source material for this deep dive. Until next time.